So what's up, Rauta viewers? This opinion video came to my mind a few weeks ago, but I kind of decided to let it sink in my brain and kind of get the ideas going. And then I started getting some notifications of some earlier videos which I made already in 2017 for Rauta, such as a couple of videos about Saturicon as well as one about Myrkur, and then some. And obviously new people are finding these videos, which is nothing wrong with that, but those comments kind of reminded me of some ideas that, combined with some social media stuff and news, well, not so much about news, but comments about bands and stuff, that I want to discuss or talk a little bit about this kind of a hardcore fandom, which so often is kind of fanatic to the level of ridiculousness when it comes to digging a band and the artist, and kind of fighting the battles for the artists themselves, to the point which I think even the artist might do a little bit of face palming. And the thing is this: some fans or protectors of the band or artist are not unable to take any level of critique or just wrong kind of opinions when their loved artists is doing something bad. And this can be seen just anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's metal band or band in the first place. It might be an actor or, I don't know, some other celebrity like Anthony Bourdain, the kind of a famous chef. When he died recently, there was lots of all kind of theories, like whether he was assassinated or whether he did this or that, was it a real suicide and all that stuff. And all these ideas and comments and theories kind of boil into the one point, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Not able to kind of take that critique towards the band or celebrity or artist that is to be worshipped. And I find it very ridiculous, because the thing is that I have always felt that this kind of worship, kind of like worshipping a celebrity or artist, that is something that is kind of a teenage phenomenon. When teens are in love with the actor or, I don't know, guitar player, vocalist, I guess, being the usual thing. I kind of always have felt it's something related to when teenagers have no clue about big world, and they are still kind of developing in so many ways, mentally, socially, physically, physiologically, that is, and so forth. And then these kids kind of grow up and they actually remember it's so ridiculous to worship a band or an artist to the level of this kind of I don't know, funny thing. Now, when I was reading these comments, it kind of started me to think that maybe I have been wrong. Maybe it's just adult people's doing that also. Because, for example, in this Saturicon video, where there was two, like first going to the discography, and the one was about funny stories, real life stories, not made up jokes or anything like that. So when I told these stories, I mean, like, it's known to me. There is no video on YouTube which doesn't get downvoted or get negative comments, especially when it comes to opinion videos. So I totally get it. There's nothing wrong with disliking videos of mine or anybody. The thing is, people try to defend against facts, And I'm not talking about, philosophic topics here or religion. People can, wave with those facts as much as they please because, they are also a matter of belief when it comes to religion. And this is not also a debate about like whether some album is good or not. That is also something that, yeah, you can just, debate whether Satyricon, for example, is a good band in general or not. But the funny thing is that people kind of get offended on behalf of the artists just because you might tell something that they don't approve. As if I, as a messenger here, was the guilty part. And I've noticed this kind of phenomenon going on in so many places, in so many weird angles. For example, the Miracle opinion video was also another example of this kind of behavior. Just because people might be, in love with the music, which is totally fine with me, of course, people might not be, accepting certain claims or facts even, just because they are worshipping the band. And that makes no sense to me. I mean, I can understand this. Say you're a married man or woman. Somebody offends your husband or wife, and you just want to step up and defend like, hey, don't you say those things about my wife or I will punch you in the face. Okay, that might be a stupid primitive reaction, but I kind of understand it. It also applies when somebody's, making bad comments about your parents, siblings, kids, pets. Yeah, it's kind of understand. That gets, under your skin, and it might be a little hard to rub that off just because, ego steps in and all that stuff. Well, this is the kind of a self-defense martial arts thing which I'm involved with, but I don't want to bring it to the middle. Now, the thing is, I kind of understand this because it's primitive stuff. But the thing is so different when you are defending a band or an artist or whatever. I mean, say you are anti-drug and you just worship, for some reason, Marilyn Manson. Then he takes drugs, gets an overdose, and dies. And instead of, being like, okay, drugs are bad, he get what he deserved, you kind of start to explaining like, he didn't do it on purpose, or, like, maybe somebody poisoned him or assassinated. It's like, hello, is anybody in your side brain, like, people are, trying to defend their kind of a fandom, their worship in so ridiculous ways that it makes absolutely no sense at all. The same in this real life example would be, like I said, those stories. I told those stories about Satyricon, and which were true, by the way, and I just made them to show that some bands are kind of ridiculous, even though they might be, making good music, writing nice lyrics, they might have great philosophy, ideology, and whatnot. But when those stories are being told, some people just, get offended instead of, being like, oh crap, I like this band, but I kind of find it a little bit cringy, or I don't think that's cool to happen. For example, Inquisition, in this case, during this spring, it got into a very bad light because the other member of the band had some, I don't know if it was child pornography, but something really distasteful material found on his computer and whatnot. And then it went to the court or some lawyer shit. And I got the impression that he wasn't found guilty. But nevertheless, this material was still found and there was some debate about blah, blah, blah. And long story short, basically some people try to, suddenly explain that this and that might not have been happening because they are just, unable to put these two things together. Just because they like the band, they might not be accepting things that happened, that maybe their idol or, the artist they worship did something really nasty, and because that doesn't fit into their, I don't know, way of life or way of thinking or whatever, they are having a hard time. And there is this cognitive dissonance, I think it's called, when people have a hard time putting the facts and beliefs together, and when they are not in kind of in line with each other, then there's this problem, and people are trying to figure out how to deal with it, because it's kind of hard, and they might be even denying the facts just because they are such a big fan or big fans. And that is something I think people need to grow up, because like I said, it's not about defending your family or your personal ego or anything like that. But if there is a band that does some stupid shit, gets caught, it's not like, will your life be ruined? I mean, you can still enjoy the music, maybe the lyrics, maybe even the show, live stage. I mean, people make mistakes. But, just get offended on behalf of the band and go into some kind of internet holy war and start calling people by names. And I don't mean me or this channel. I mean like other people. Like sometimes if I read conversation here on Rauta channel, usually people are civil and cool like that. But sometimes people just flip because somebody says bad thing about their favorite band and they just can't take it. I mean, that is not about talking about music, like whether A Blaze in the Northern Sky is a cool album or not. Is Tom Araya the right vocalist for Slayer because he might have some Christian values or not? That they are not that kind of debate. They are more like a waste of time kind of debate. I mean, like getting offended on behalf of a band is like one of the most stupid things I have ever heard or read of when it comes to music. I mean, it's like if you can't stand, band doing something stupid shit or pulling off a stunt that is beyond acceptance in your personal life and values, deal with it. Sell the albums. Don't go to the shows. Don't support the band buying merchandise or whatever. Tell your friends that band sucks because they do this and that. But having these holy wars just because somebody offended your band, I mean, you're not your band, but the band you worship, makes absolutely no sense. I mean, people either have way too much time, and it includes me as well because I'm doing a video of this topic, or I don't know what's going on. I mean, like, instead of being this blind fan, maybe they just could pull out their head out of their butt and try to take a look like, okay, I like this artist, but maybe he's a little stupid. Maybe he's a cunt and I don't want to support him, but his music is quite okay. And people are having these stupid fights because of really stupid arguments sometimes. And I'm starting to figure, don't these people actually have better things to do? People should be able to separate music from the people, and these people from their set of values and thoughts from their own. I mean, there's like huge gap between, hey, I am a fan of band called Burzum. Hi, I'm Bart Ekernes from Burzum. You can call me Christian if you want to, but I will punch you in the face. Hi, Bart Ekernes. And then somebody comes here. Hey, Burzum sucks because he's a right-winger dude and does stupid shit, and by the way, his music isn't cool anymore. I'm offended. That's okay, kill him for me. I will. And you get the idea going on. It's just like, I feel like vomiting my thoughts on these people because it's absolutely stupid and a waste of time. So, but I guess stupid people just, waste of time instead doing constructive things like, I don't know, maybe creating music by themselves, maybe, working out, maybe doing a job, maybe having a family, maybe going out with friends, maybe reading a book, maybe writing a book, doing a poem, I don't know, painting a painting, going for a jog. It's like a million things more constructive, more stuff that makes more sense than, bitching about online about this and that. I don't know. What do you think? Am I totally right or am I totally wrong? Give me these thumbs both directions so I know what you think. I think it's stupid, and now if I offended you, I have to quote Suicidal Tendencies song. Oh, if I offended you, I'm sorry, but maybe you need to be offended. Here's my apology and one more thing. Fuck you. See you soon with more other videos coming out, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Bye bye.